Welcome to you all again. Another week, another session of our Living a Scripture series. What to do with Scripture, what to do with our lives in connection to Scripture. How life is not merely scripted. No, we are not following a script, but Scripture. How to make that a living thing. Not a dead script, but living Scripture. So for that to happen today, we are inviting for a very interesting challenge by presenting a very beautiful Payara verse from Caitanya-bhāgavata, very much in line with the third verse of Shikshastakam of Mahaprabhu, which invites for tolerance and humility and respect. It says like this: Ithe Vaisnava-dharma-sabāre praṇati, say dharmadhvajī, yāra, ithe, nāhi, rati. Caitanya-bhāgavata 3:29. The translation says as follows: offering obeisances to everyone, this is Vaishnava-dharma. One who has no affinity for this is just a dharma-flag-bearer, that is, a pseudo-follower of dharma who merely makes a show of following it, but actually does not follow it at all. So, powerful words from Vrindavan Das Ṭhākura, but making it clear what's the actual dharma of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is a worshipper of Vishnu, of Krishna, of God. Vishnu means the omnipresent one, the all-pervading one. So that's very interesting because Vaishnava-dharma, the dharma or the duty of one who worships the all-pervading one is to respect everyone, acknowledging that Vishnu is everywhere. Therefore, everyone deserves my utmost respect. Even if someone behaves in a way that is making them worthy of not respecting what they are doing, at least even in those worst cases, there is still something to be honored and respected, which is the all-pervadingness of Vishnu. So as a Vaishnava, one who worships Vishnu, God, as in his all-present, all-pervading, omnipresent aspect, we are to, our dharma, our religion, basically, is to offer obeisances to everyone. Sabāre praṇati, says this word. Praṇati means to offer pranam, to offer a special type of pranam. Literally, this means falling to the ground at the feet of everyone, which of course in practice it may not be so practical and realistically sustainable to do with every single living entity. But in principle, in spirit, that's the command. That's what's expected in Vaishnava-dharma. So again, someone asks us, okay, you are a Vaishnava, what's your religion about? Offering respects to everyone. Offering obeisances to everyone. Honoring everyone. And you ultimately, as we always remember, respect comes from the Latin res spessare, to look anew, new spectacles, to give everyone the chance to be something else from what I think they are, and to give myself the chance of perceiving everything else and everyone else in a new light, in a different way. That's actual respect. It's not a formality. It has nothing to do with bureaucracy, some sort of formal etiquette, but it's about deeply allowing reality to be all that it can be, which it can be something new at every moment. If someone has no affinity for that, nāhi rati, says this verse, one has no love for this lifestyle, and instead chooses to present himself, herself as a follower of Dharma or Vaishnava-dharma, that person is called as dharmadhvajī. Dhvaja means a flag. Dhvaja means he who carries a flag. So he was carrying the flag of Dharma while not behaving dharmically. So who is trying to make up for his loss, for his lack of actual Dharma by weaving that flag as bigger and as fancifully and as eccentrically and flamboyantly as possible. So everyone sees how big my flag is. Sometimes we do that, no? Again, by shouting our dogmas, exposing our so-called loyalty and our following of rules and how I'm so correct and so paka. That's our big Dharma flag that we're weaving, trying to convince everyone or even to impress other people. See how dharmic I am, how religious I am, how of a Vaishnava I am. But at the end of the day, the yardstick the litmus test is sabāre praṇati. How much we are honoring everything, how much we are, how much we are acknowledging the sacredness of everything. There are no profane things or people. There are only profanated things, things that we have, abused by our own lack of vision. But at the end of the day, everything is divine. There's another similar verse in Caitanya-bhāgavata which says that, like from Brahma to a clump of grass and so forth. Everything is a manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all Shastras say, Krishna becomes angry at any defamation at all. Truly, the verse concludes saying, Krishna will deliver anyone who chants once even Krishna while being non-defaming. That's why Sanatana Goswami will say, if you learn to relate to a blade of grass for what it is, you can attain all perfection. It's that easy and that difficult. If you learn to relate to everything in a loving way, acknowledging the Vishnu-esque, the all-pervading presence of Vishnu everywhere, you become enlightened. That's why Mahaprabhu began his most famous instruction with the blade of grass. Begin there. Be humble enough to learn something from the grass. Be humble enough to find God even in the grass. That's real humility. Don't think God is only in the temple, only in the altar, only in the Brahmin, only in the sage. He's everywhere, especially in the places you expect him the less. So again, this verse is a call for integrity. It's a call for avoiding spiritual bypassing. Dharmadhvajī basically means that. The dharma-flag-bearer means you're hiding. We are hiding our shortcomings in a big religious packaging, trying to convince the world and others that we are actually doing what we are supposed to do. So we don't have to actually do what we must do. So again, this is very, this is an irreducible claim. You find that in every major mystical tradition. Treat others and you as you're expecting to be treated yourself. Love your neighbor as thyself. Golden rule, cross-culturally, everywhere. To honor, respect, and love everything, because ultimately respect is not a mere formality. Okay, I will respect everyone. The ultimate form of respect is love. So ultimately we are, as Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava-dharma is love everyone and love everything, even, not everyone only. Acknowledging the all-lovable object of our affection is omnipresent. So from this place, this is real dharma. And dharma, as we also know, means that which maintains me and sustains me. Dhara, to sustain, me. So that which sustains me, Vaishnava-dharma, the dharma of a Vaishnava, that which sustains a Vaishnava is to acknowledge the presence of Vishnu, the deity of the Vaishnava, everywhere, and to act accordingly. That's the main aspect, in one sense. According to this verse, we could say that's the main practice of our tradition. That's practice. That's part of our sadhana. That's the core of our religion. It's not so just chant my japa or do this ritual. That's a more external consideration. The essential consideration doesn't create any separation between how do I deal and relate and walk my day to day, and what do I do in my prayer chamber, so to say. One has to be an overflow of the other. So this is a very powerful reminder and a very beautiful way of framing or reframing how we think of our own religion. How do I define to myself and to others what I do as a Vaishnava? Which are my main engagement? Which are the main aspects of my practice? It has nothing to do with some ritualistic formality. It's very much into the day after day and how do I relate with everything. How do I do anything is how do I do everything. And this verse invites us to embrace full integrity in that. So, what do you think? Which are your thoughts? Please share in the comment share the impact of these powerful words in your heart with us so we can continue extending the conversation. Deep gratitude, and see you next week for our next chapter of living scripture. It becomes more living.